Some surprising updates around the Disneyland Resort this week. A lot of them, actually. Like, what are they doing at ESPN Zone? Tiki room is closed, but we can see a little something, while Port Royale Curios, that's just gone. They took it, put in some tables. What? We'll get to that soon, because it's kind of shocking. But we're going to go start in DCA, where Disney has already delivered on what we suggested might happen just last week. And that is, last week we said they're going to close this path connecting Cars Land with Avengers Campus over there by Luigi's and put in a new bathroom. And I thought it might take a little bit before those walls went up, but they went up fast. So the shortcut, the connection between the two lands has been closed off. So you'd have to go all the way around now if you want to go to Avengers Campus, which I did. What we're going to be looking for over those walls is to see if any of those trees come down. And you can see a little bit of that vertical, looks like vertical steel there, to see if that might come down. Or just any kind of clearing at all to see what it is they're taking out and what it is they're putting back in. Well, the assumption is this is what's behind that wall is that space over there on the left where Red would meet guests. He would park there sometimes, Red would. Meanwhile, you can look on the other side. You can see now they have that gate wide open. So it's so enticing. That gate is open now. You can see backstage if you were on the other side of that wall, but obviously they're not. Looking from the Avengers Campus side, and that, again, is the same path from Avengers Campus into Cars Land. And, again, we're going to be looking for the same sort of movement to see what, if anything, is sort of cleared out of this space. The trees, the fake rock formations there, the crane, I don't know. Meanwhile, if you go into the sanctum, the secret sanctum, you can see the walls have extended just on the other side of what used to be the sanctum space. So it's going to be, whatever they're doing is coming up right against this part of Avengers Campus. See, the thought is that maybe they closed some of this stuff so they could build the new e-ticket, etc., which, I mean, I guess makes sense, although that's not what I've heard. Sanctum, the secret sanctum here. But would they really cancel an entire attraction, kill an entire attraction just to build a bathroom? I don't think so. So I feel like while that could be part of it, there has to be more to that story. There has to be more. And the same goes for the show at Avengers headquarters. It's not there. It is often the case where construction happens right next to an existing attraction or show. So I get it. I get it, but I'm just not convinced that these two situations are related. I guess we'll have to find out in a couple, 3 or 4 years. With that, let's get on the Pixar pal around to see what we can see of the Avengers Campus e-ticket construction. We're moving into sort of the next phase. It was previously the demo phase, and we're moving all the concrete, and now we're still in the dirt phase, but in a different level of dirt. As a matter of fact, that dirt looked a little higher than it was before. I'm panning right to see if I can find anything. I think Mount Downey and Mount Downey Jr. are both gone now, or maybe just moved. They've moved the dirt. But if we stop here a second. Yeah, that's a lot of dirt there in that space. We'll come back to that in a second. But first, I want to show you where they're working. In between those orange cones and the Avengers headquarters, sort of in that general space, I want to see if any trees are taken out of there in order to make room for this restroom. This is another view, another opportunity that we'll have in order to visit that. Now let's get back to that dirt. Yeah, I'm telling you, those look like ridges, mountainous ridges there. So they have definitely moved dirt into a different configuration back there. I don't know what that means, why that dirt is shaped the way it is, but they have definitely moved it. If it's brand new dirt, who can say? But Mount Downey Jr. are gone, and now we have these trenches, sort of, vertical trenches, as it were. I'm not sure how to describe that. I haven't seen something like that. Stay tuned next week. We'll try to get another view from offsite as well next week of Avengers Campus. But for now, we're going to move over to Grizzly Peak to show you that the access between DCA and the Grand Californian is still closed. We saw some guys working last week about creating that awning. They have painted that awning now. It is now finished wood, but we can also see there's some guys working there as we speak, as we film this. Looks like some tiles have been removed back there on that left side of the entrance. Those there should be, brick color tiles there, and then over here on the left as well. So this is quite a remodel that they're getting at the new entrance, or I should say the entrance between Grand Californian and DCA. As for the Grand Californian side of things, Hearthstone is still closed, and those construction walls continue all the way down until you meet the pool. But there's been no change, no movement. It's on both the left side and the right side where those planters were. No movement here. This is exactly how we left it last week. But I don't see any scaffolding now on the DVC wing of the Grand Californian. So it looks like they finished that part of it. And of course, here's the opposite side of that entrance. The path from Grand California to DCA is still closed. We'll get out to the Esplanade to update you guys on what's happening with the main entrance gates. And, last week we saw they were having a little bit of difficulty processing guests. We got here about an hour later on this morning, and things were certainly less troublesome than they were last week. Obviously, the lines here, there was no lines at DCA. A little bit of line here at Disneyland, or on the Disneyland side. One thing I did notice is that they've gone digital on those signs, the signs that hang out over the entrance. Those used to be analog. They would actually rotate those manually. We now have digital signs, so these guys say entrance and exit. You might see some for special events, like an After Dark event, like Star Wars Night or Oogie Boogie on the other side. You might see dedicated aisle or lanes for those tickets, and they would express that there on those signages above. As for what's left, we're still waiting for them to finish the right side at Disneyland and the far left side at DCA. And then in the middle is this thing. They're working on constructing that mobile that doesn't move. It looks like a mobile, but it's not going to move. It's going to be very static. Last week we just saw the walls. This week they put up something. This is for the 70th. And I would say they're probably about maybe a third of the way done with this. It'll look like this when they're done. Oh man, I don't know. I just can't get with that thing. I just can't. It doesn't scream 70th. I don't feel like celebrating when I look at that. Let's get in the park, and we'll head over to the Tiki Room first where the walls are up. We saw this on our State of Disneyland report. Refurb has begun at the Tiki Room. The Dole Whip, you can still mobile order Dole Whip. That stand is still open, but the Tiki Room is closed. They're already working on Tangaroa back there. I've been told somebody has put eyes on the fact that they've already been stripping it. I tried looking through the little cracks, and they've done a good job of covering everything up in there, so I won't be able to get the camera in there. I can't see anything, but I have been told they're already working on disassembling and then reassembling Tangaroa. And no sooner had I said that I couldn't believe I could actually see these guys through the scrim. This is to the left of Tropical Hideaway, across from the bazaar, and you can see a bunch of construction workers. And that guy, the nearest guy to us in the orange vest, that's about where Tangaroa is. But you can't see. I don't know if I should be seeing the Tangaroa tree or not from this view. I can't recall in my mind's eye if we should be able to see the tree. I assume it is gone, but I just don't know if this view would show that or not. Turn around and look at this. Okay, so we saw them working on this last week. They have now, the walls are up and they've begun aging it. Look that's an aged patch on there. They're going to try to make this look like it's old and been there forever. We don't have any color yet. They're going to add more color and do a little more aging to that, I'm sure. Took a peek through the walls there as well. They're just in the first phase, as we mentioned, of the coloring. They're going to add more color, more texture, more aging to that wall. I just can't believe we're here. I can't believe after all this time they finally started doing something with what it's going to be different. It's not going to be the same as what we had before. This is more a wall than a rock structure. So, but I don't know what to expect, but I'm just excited that they're doing something there. Okay, I feel like this is the top story of the week. We saw, it went so fast, this story. Port Royale Curios, home of Haunted Mansion merch and Nightmare Before Christmas merch, mostly Nightmare. We assumed a long time ago when we saw that they were going to build the new gift shop at the exit of the Haunted Mansion. We're like, okay, there's no point in having two Haunted Mansion gift shops. What are they going to do? I wonder what they're going to do with Port Royale Curios. And then it's been a long time. That gift shop has been open for a while, but still Port Royale Curios was just as it was. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you see on social media, hey, the Port Royale is closed. It's closed. Oh my gosh, what are they doing? And then I saw that the door was open. I'm like, oh, well, maybe they were just doing nothing. So I popped my head in there. And legit, I think this just happened this morning when I shot this. It's tables. They did the thing. They did it. They've turned the Port Royale. This is just so shocking to me. Like, it was just a couple days ago that you could buy, all your favorite Nightmare Before Christmas merch in here. You could buy Zero and Jack and Sally and all that, and even the beautiful cash wrap that they had back there, which we'll look at in a second. is they put in a bunch of tables. It's obviously extended seating for the Royal Street Veranda, and I don't know. I mean, on the one hand, I dig it. I dig it because we could always use more tables. They've actually done a thing that doesn't serve. There's no revenue being generated now. I guess is what I'm saying. That's the shocking thing about this. There's no revenue being generated in this room. It's just more places for people to sit, which we're definitely in short supply, especially in this area. People are always looking for a place to eat their sourdough bread bowl. And so it's great that they did this. I really appreciate that. And it looks like they did go to some lengths to theme it. Is that table new? This is where the cash wrap was. No, it was a little more Gothic looking, wasn't it? This is very just standard wood or oaky looking thing. And it certainly is bigger. So, but my mind, I can't. They made it look like it's a bar. And you could pull up a table. You could actually sit at this table. There's stools down there. And you could actually sit there. But nobody was when I got there. Strange. But you can sit there. I don't know. People are going to say, it's light. And it is light. The theming is light. It's ostensibly, it's an extension of New Orleans, the jazz theme, as opposed to the haunted theme, the Haunted Mansion or Nightmare. It's more jazzy. It's definitely evoking more Tiana than it is, the Hatbox Ghost, right? So, and this is giving you the impression that it's supposed to be a bar, but it never will be because they only serve alcohol in table service restaurants here at Disneyland. But it would be cool. Would that be cool, actually? This is one of those situations where people who are like, oh, no alcohol in Disneyland, like, maybe I would get a beer at this point if they served one here. I think I might. But you can see that they it's a lot of theming in this part here, where the table is. They got some posters. But otherwise it's kind of light. They threw some hats up there and called it a day, that kind of thing. Like, I'm not sure if it's really a finished job. I would have liked to have seen them go a little further, and maybe they will in the future. But like the area where the in the back corners, the left and right corners from the bar space, they look a little light. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how far I want them to go, but this just felt a little light, as I guess what I'm saying. All in all, I'm going to give this a thumbs up. I think it's a good idea. And I think it's a good sign that Disney's thinking about us instead of thinking about profit. Although they got a long way to go to really finish that feeling. But this is the kind of thing that I'm talking about when Disney needs to think about guest comfort and the guest experience ahead of how many Spirit jerseys they sell. So I appreciate that. I would like to have, like I said, seen them finish this theming just a little bit more. Maybe get a little bit more, authentic looking. But good start. We'll catch up on a few ongoing stories. Golden Horseshoe is just as it was the last couple of weeks. Scrim is still up. We're still waiting for them to finish whatever it is that they're doing. I've looked through the walls there. There's still a lot of staging happening on the other side of those construction walls. So I don't feel like they're very far along or near done, I should say. These walls popped up. This is nothing. This is to the left of the Golden Horseshoe. It wasn't anything before. There was never anything here. It was a bar. Basically, not like a bar, but a place where people could just sort of lean up against. They did magic here for a hot minute, but that was it. So I'm not sure what they're trying to do here, but there was nothing here before of note. I'll be curious to see if anything develops there. Meanwhile, in Fantasyland, Pinocchio's Daring Journey, the scrim and scaffold are down. And so I took a close inspection to see if I could figure out what it is that they did. I assumed paint and polish. That's the space that was behind the scrim and scaffold. That was the subject of their repair. And that looks just like we left it a couple weeks ago. This right here, though, I think those are new tiles. I think that is what happened, is they replaced those tiles right here. I mean, they look new, they look fresh, and they are different from the tiles that are facing their direction. Meanwhile, this part of the building still looks the same as it did before, aged. And not aged because they made it look aged, but aged because it is old. I don't think they touched that at all. Like all this down here by the window and all that, that's exactly as we left it. You can tell that's the original composition of what was there before. So it's just those tiles, I think, that they replaced. But they look good. They look nice and clean and fresh. Small World. Walls have moved a little bit. Again, this is that path that the sort of side path to Toontown is still behind construction walls. Still waiting. I'm assuming it's the concrete, the flooring, the pavements. Walls are down. We reported this last week. We're expecting Small World to open next week at some point. And while we were here, we could see that they were doing a little ride testing. There's water on the track and their boats in the water, and they are live testing, although it's not a really complicated process to test Small World. Fantasyland Theater is getting prepped. They're readying this for the 70th anniversary. What is going on with the wet blue and red things there? Is that looks really cheap and weak. I don't know if that's the finished product. I think it might be. I can't wait to see what it is that they're trying to achieve with those. I'm fascinated. Pixie Hollow, you guys. Okay, we mentioned last week that we have a date. We'll get into that at the end of the show today. We'll tell you about what the current status is of the reopening dates. But for the first time, I can see air through this scrim. Normally that's too far. Normally when I look through the scrim, you can't see anything. All you could see was those orange sandbags. But now I can kind of see space through that scrim. So that means they've taken out all the stuff that was obstructing our view. They've taken out all of the whatever it is that the walls or staging materials that were needed in order for them to do whatever it is that they were trying to do. So this is a good sign. Too close, David. Stop doing that. This is a good sign that we might be actually getting close. And here, from different angles, you can kind of, even though it's just those orange bags again, it's a clear view. Things have been removed, I guess is the point that I'm trying to make. Things have been moved. Main Street Carnation Cafe is closed. We mentioned that last week. My understanding is they are working on some back of house stuff. They're redoing the kitchen for Carnation Cafe, which again is great. The working on the kitchens for this and the Jolly Holiday are great for the guest as well. That improves the guest experience. It's nothing that's guest facing. It's something we can look at and say, oh my gosh, how great. But they're doing it. So that I really appreciate them doing that kind of stuff. Even though it's not visibly guest facing, it is part of the guest experience. Got some new developments over here at DCA. We're going to go back to DCA and show you what's going on over at the old Blue Sky Cellar. Walls have popped up again. And this is in front of what do they call this? I forget, the DVC Club. The walls have popped up there, and then they also extend to the left. They actually go all the way to where you should be entering the Magic Key Terrace. Yeah, Magic Key Terrace. It's right there on the other side of that wall. Right there, up those steps. That's the Magic Key Terrace. It's open. It's still open though. So comes to find out, you have to go around towards the Blue Sky Cellar, and there's your guest or your host admitting guests. And so you, instead of entering from the left side, you're going to go up those stairs on the side of the Magic Key Terrace. And I would say you're probably better off if you're going to enter from this path, coming in from the back side of the Blue Sky Cellar instead of going all the way around to the front, because that's the back of the queue right there for checking in. The more you know. Carthay Circle, all the scrim and scaffold are down. This job is finished. This job is complete. We saw that the main entrance area was complete last week. It looked great. It looked very clean, very fresh. The whole building is done, and the same thing. I don't see a single blemish. Not a single blemish on that building, which normally that's not a thing that I noticed, but I noticed it this time. Meanwhile, next door at Disney Junior, scrim and scaffold are still up, as well as the construction walls. There's nothing to report here in terms of, what I can see them doing. It's all happening on the inside, though I do expect, that's why the walls are up, that something is going to happen to this facade, to this exterior, that's going to bring it forward to whatever new thing they're adding on the inside. Right next door to that, the animation building is closed. You can't go in. They've closed the entrance on the left, both the left side and the right side of those doors right there. But inside, you can still see at least two of the exhibits. Inside, you can still see Turtle Talk and the Animation Academy. But the entrances are moved. This is the B entrance to Animation Academy. They've done this before. We've seen this before. You queue up on the side of the building here, around the corner, and then you actually enter on that on the path to Avengers Campus through those doors right there. That's the entrance to the Animation Academy. And then Turtle Talk with Crush, we've seen this before, on the opposite side towards Disney Junior, Turtle Talk, and you go through those walls right there. On the other side, you can see the cast member with the tent or the umbrella. That's the entrance to Turtle Talk with Crush. It looks like you're going to the restroom. Hang a left instead of a right. Meanwhile, while we're here, Guardians of the Galaxy, we're just checking in on the elevators. They're still running at just 2/3 capacity. Alpha and Charlie were operating on this visit. Bravo is still not running. So 2/3 capacity. Let's go to downtown Disney and look at Tortilla Joe's. Last week we said look for them to take down any of that steel that where they were removing the fireproofing, that steel was probably going to go, and that has exactly what's happened here. This week we come back, and the whole back section, there used to be a whole bunch of Tortilla Joes in that frame. There used to be lots and lots of steel there. They've taken all that down. However, they've left a lot of this. So it looks like they're going to keep that part, that even the concrete, they're going to keep that, and probably, they're going to finish it and resurface it, and it's going to become pearls. That's exactly what you're seeing there is going to be what winds up on that side of the building. Meanwhile, on the opposite side, same thing. They're keeping a lot of that they haven't torn that down yet. I have to assume if they haven't torn it down by now, they're not going to. They're going to have to refinish it. They're going to have to clean all that, those gaps up, but they're going to keep the walls that are in place there. They didn't take down the whole dome. They took down the actual dome part of it, but the circular base of it is still there. We'll go to Earl's next, where we have moved along nicely. They have finished the steel framing. Steel framing is done, and it looks like the next thing that they're adding now are those steel studs. There you go. There you see some of those studs there on the left of the building, and they kind of go around the back side of the building as well. And then if we keep panning to the right, you can see further in, more steel studs are being built. So that's going to be the beginnings of the exterior. They're going to put that up, and then you'll have your exterior come up after that. And last week we also noticed the forms that were being set up, the trench work that was being done there. Those were created to put more steel studs inside. You can see the studs there as well. While I was here, I noticed Nectar Life has put up a little pop-up cart. They're teasing guests about what's to come to this section of downtown Disney. This is what you're going to see at Nectar Life. That's the shop that's going to open up right next to the D-Lander shop. There's the cart, and then that's where it's going, right there, the last shop on the right. And what Nectar Life is going to sell is all these things that look delicious. They look like waffles and donuts and beautifully tasty sweet treats. No, man, that's soap. That's all soap. You're going to wash your face with a donut. And then lastly, we've got ESPN Zone. Okay, so we've been trying to figure out what were they going to do with those sports figures that were attached to the side of the buildings. And I just cannot believe that this is what they've done. They didn't remove them. They have installed these fake breeze blocks on the side of the building, but I just can't. I mean, I get it. Breeze blocks are a central design element for the mid-century modern style of architecture. You see breeze blocks all over the place in downtown Disney. At the stage, breeze blocks, but these are actual breeze blocks, right? And then on the side of the Parkside Market there. Now that's a little bit different implementation. Usually you don't see them actually affixed to the side of the building. Usually they are an actual wall. And then the facade here at Avengers Reserve, breeze blocks, right? Even the trash can has breeze blocks on it. So that's a central design element. But it just seems different here because we know what's behind them. We know that there's a football player behind them. It's just like secondhand embarrassment. It's just a veneer. It's not a real thing. And I guess that vaguely resembles a breeze, but I don't know. This building is so ugly, you guys. The ESPN Zone building is so ugly, and I've been wondering how they're going to make this building. I asked that literal question. How are they going to turn the ESPN Zone building into something that fits in the mid-century modern theme that is surrounding this building in downtown Disney? And now we have our answer. They're going to put a poster of breeze blocks over the walls. And I mean, you know what though? It's fine. It's fine. It's not so much that I don't like it. It looks fine. I would rather they do this than have the football player up there for sure. But I mean, that is just such a nasty building. And I'm like, I wish, why couldn't they just destroy it? Like, could you not? Do you have to, was it that important? Did you keep that building? I don't know. So it's kind of like, all I have is just like secondhand embarrassment. I feel bad that there's nothing they can do with this building. It's just it is the ugliest damn building. When you really look at it, detach yourself from, because it was a very, 90s, early 2000s style thing. These big boxy stores or buildings with themed restaurants and big box buildings and things like that. It's just not a thing anymore. And trying to put a lipstick on that pig is just going to be a real treat. But that is all the construction that we have for you on this week. Let's update you on the status of all the ongoing projects, the dates for these projects, starting with Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln. There's no date listed on the calendar yet, obviously, but we're expecting this to happen on, July 17th. By the way, that date has been sold out. Disney has locked that date up. So if you're going to want to keep an eye on that, but if you're trying to get it, it is not available right now. It's a Small World is going to reopen on May 9th. So that's a week from now. This coming Friday, or next Friday, I should say. The Tinkerbell meet and greet. Oh no. Here I thought we had a date, and now the date is gone. We're back to unknown. According to the Disneyland website, we are back to unknown for the reopening of the Pixie Hollow Tinkerbell meet and greet. That's unfortunate. The Tiki Room is closed now with no known date. It's going to be sometime at least after June 15th. That's as far ahead as we can see on the calendar. Carnation Cafe, we mentioned that earlier, just closed this week. It's going to be down until May 12th. The Matterhorn is closing this week on May 5th. No known return date for that as well. Gadget's Go Coaster is closing on May 19th. It will reopen on June 13th. Let's hope that they fix the Chippendale water feature there, which was working kind of sort of for a minute, and then it stopped working. And then back over at DCA, the Sorcerer's Workshop and Anna and Elsa's Royal Welcome, both closed earlier or last week. Both will reopen on May 16th. The whole building in general is closed now, but the two attractions, as we mentioned, Turtle Talk with Crush and the Animation Academy, those shows are still open. You just can't go into the animation building to enter them. You have to go from the side entrances. And that will cover it, Fresh Baked. I do hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching. If you have a minute, watch our State of Disneyland report. Very good report we did from the park this week. Illuminating report. We talk about ways to make Disneyland better without having to build a new land or a new attraction. Otherwise, thanks for watching, everybody. We love you. Be safe out there. Be kind to one another. And Fresh Baked.